Ah! Can you see me? I don't know where you can see me. This is a crazy ass angle. Hey, Dakota again. I've gotten some stuff in general. Mainly these two amps. I got this Fireball 100, and I recently have been in the market for a rectifier. This is my fourth one, and it's the first one to come in. It's just an issue getting them. For some reason, most of the ones on the market are just broken for whatever reason. But I'll buy it, and then 3 days later I'll get a message being like, hey, it's popping fuses, we'll discount it. And I'll be like, no. Which I gave up on trying to get a rectifier because of that, so I got the Fireball. Because the Fireball is one of the most reasonably priced high gain amps you can get. So much balls. And out of nowhere, this came up for sale. And it was on Guitar Center. It was lower than what multi-watts were going for, and it's a triple. And I've never seen a 2-channel for sale, because anytime someone says they get one, it's just gone. Or they send me a link for one, it's gone already. This is indeed a REV G, and the easiest way to tell a REV G apart, I'm going to turn around, but this one came with blown tubes. And the tubes got blown, not blown, but one of them broke in shipping, and doing a little bit of digging and research, this is a tube kit for a 3-channel, so it came with an extra tube, but it didn't really make sense. And then 4 of the tubes were KT77s and 2 were 6L6s, and they're all JJ, except for the 3 rectifier tubes, which are also mismatched. One's just an older 5U4, and then the 2 other ones are newer. But it was really confusing. But to have a REV G triple rec, I was just going to deal with it. So I ordered new tubes. I got JJs. I've never had an issue with JJs, ever. I've only had to switch tubes on 50-watt amps, just because those were like my live amps. Sweetwater Rocks, they always give me candy. And they actually took really good care of this. I have all of my little tubes. I'm going to really, really inspect them as I go one by one. And then they tape them to show that they're matched. Which, when you do this, I'm going to go step by step with you. It's super easy to do, especially with matched pairs. You go outside in. So I'll put a little diagram up here. I had to ask advice for this just to make sure, because the only times I've swapped tubes are in 50 watts, so those only have 2 6L6s. These are the 12s, the 12AX7s, little JJs. And these are paired 6L6s. This being a triple rectifier, I had to get 6 of them. So it was real annoying. Mesa branded tubes are also expensive, so I didn't go down that route. Play a little switcheroo. I'm just gonna edit and post and just do this whole thing. They did a great job packing and mailing me this, so it's not the end of the world. Plus they gave me money back so I could buy new tubes. This is the only one that didn't match the branding. I don't know if it's gonna focus. There we go. This one didn't match. It's gonna be kind of a weird look, but you can already tell that this one's white on top, so that's a clear giveaway. Plus, when I plugged it in, it wasn't making sound, but it was still turning off. I took all the tubes out, still was turning on, so I knew it wasn't the fuse. And then, because this is where the fuse is, so I put them back in, made sure they were matching, and this one was dimmer from over here, and then it blew here. But also, real quick, I know I'm rambling and I like to do that by ADHD, but only REV Gs for 2 channels, you have this like detachable power. Only REV Gs have that. So if you see any of these for sale and you see that, it's a REV G. That is the easiest way to tell. Thank you, Fluff, for that info on his website. This is my third Mesa in my life. I had a single rectifier, which was great, but it was a bad introduction to Mesa because it spoiled me to not quite understanding how complicated a Mesa could be. And it was really, really sharp. It had balls, but not crazy balls. But it's like it was very Metallica just out of the box, just with a TS9, which is great. This tube's obviously gross. I don't need to take these out. I didn't order new ones. These are still the old ones. There's a little bit of clouding on these two. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be with the silver on bottom instead of on top. But I don't use the tube rectification ever. I always just use the diode, so it shouldn't matter. But I'm gonna push these down. I got all new tubes just to play it safe. I'm not gonna reuse any of these. I'm just gonna put them to the side. But clearly this one's the broken one. I'm gonna start with this. You're just gonna wiggle back and forth slowly. A little bit of pressure. And it's gonna come out. There's an entire thing online where older tubes, the oils from your hands, will make a tube blow. I'm not gonna use these, but I'm gonna keep them as spares and figure out what's going on. Some people will wear gloves or wipe them down. I'm constantly washing my hands. I'm just lightly pulling up as I go side to side. That's great. Well, I barely touched the top of that. So now this is a much bigger mess. I could just use my fingers, but I'm gonna play it safe. This way I can also dig out some of these. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break and look inside these, make sure I don't have any glass in there, but leaving this in just to show you that accidents do happen. This is absolutely worst case scenario, but we'll see. Still gonna take out all the old tubes because I don't know how old these are. That one is scarier than all of the others. Inside here, there's, instead of a perfect circle of these small, like, female holes for the male pieces, there's a gap just so you have an alignment. And you're just supposed to give it a wiggle until it's in there. And you gotta be rougher with it than you think. Like, you're not slamming it in there, pushing it down, but you're going left or right with it. And this is overkill. But your finger oils don't, like the tubes don't get hot enough for your finger oils to damage these. And now here's the part that you gotta actually be cautious about. This is a fresh 606. We have that little notch. I'm so bad at angling this. Let's see. I cannot get that to focus. best focus as you're gonna get. There's like a baby notch right there, underneath, right between there. You can barely see it. You can see it better there. But there's a little notch inside to align because these all have perfect female holes all the way around. So it's right there, it's right there. So this is the matched one with that one. It has to go here, and all of my guides are pointing that way. So here's my guide. Cool. So now I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to plug it in. I'm leaving settings like this. I'm going to play with this though, because I don't remember. I haven't got to play this yet, but I don't know if I have to actually plug something into the loop to trick it as a master or not. I read that a lot, but yeah, I'm going to turn around and then play it. We'll let it warm up first. I didn't forget to put this on, but I am putting it on. I just didn't plan on filming it. Alright, I let all my amps warm up for like 3 minutes. My orange manual said like 4, but I just, give or take, anytime I play a tube amp, I let it warm up for like 3 minutes. So this is kind of a moment of truth now, to see if I was right about it just being tubes. And it sounds, we have noise finally, so it was just tubes. I feel so accomplished. Like, I cannot express how accomplished I feel. And then once again, I'm using my Focusrite as a room mic. I'm trying this method out for a little bit. I might go back to using the Torpedo for like more in-depth demos, but for just showing stuff, I feel like this is the best way to demonstrate with an iPhone, basically. This is as fancy as it can get. Ring light, using you as a webcam, and then syncing my mic through my interface so it's all at once. Yeah, it's slightly more ballsy. The slower you go, the ballsier it is. That is a crazy thing. I'm gonna play around with this. I'm obviously not gonna do a deep dive video on it. Well, this is already a really deep video, but I'm gonna do an actual in-depth video with it once I'm more familiar with this amp. I have 3 more pedal videos that I'm gonna record, and from there I'm gonna start documenting my amps, and then once I'm finished documenting each amp, showing how I feel they can be, besides just an overall demo, I'm just going to show them in the hardcore and sludge way. But then I'll start doing shootouts where I compare the amps to each other because people seem to enjoy that. And it's really fun to make those videos, oddly enough. And I have a lot of ideas how I can keep it, but just spitballing when I do the amp documentations, I'm probably going to start with my 6505 because that's the easiest for people to find when it comes to my tube amps. It's definitely my cheapest. Not my cheapest. It is my cheapest, but it's also my most affordable tube amp. People get upset about cheap. I like cheap stuff. And I know these are brand new tubes for the entire power section, so I'm set for quite a while of playing with these. That's why I replaced everything at once, and it was like 380 shipped to go JJ's, and I had it in my cart to go full Mesa. It was like 520 shipped, not including the rectifier tubes. But eventually I'm going to get the rectifier tubes just to have peace of mind with this amp and knowing everything's fresh and I did everything I can with it. There's a couple things I need to tighten up with it. Like, it's missing a couple chassis screws on the bottom. So, like, that's like the little ding ringing you might be hearing. When they took it apart to take the tubes out, they forgot those. It happens. I'll find some new ones. I think you can actually order everything through Mesa, but I'm trying not to buy directly through Mesa right now with everything going on. I'm going to try rolling that back quite a bit. I'm going to push the treble. There's a lot of balls in there. That's dangerous. I am boosted with the TS9, and I have a Sentry in front of my TS9. That's how I like to run it. This is so... It's going to be so much fun playing with this thing. I feel like a kid. My gain's a little past 6. Some more, but thank you for watching this. If you did watch it, this is just literally what I did after work on a Friday. God, I'm so happy. I feel like I got to take like a cool truck on a drive. I feel like I drove a '98 like Bronco on some 35s, just in a school zone, just going a little fast. This is like I'm trying to like keep it PG. This is like you're 8 years old and you and your sibling are getting juice and you're getting like Hawaiian Punch that's red, and your dad sneaks you some Code Red Mountain Dew, and he looks at you and you look at him and it's just your secret. So that's what's going on here. This is some secret Code Red Mountain Dew. You're 8 and you're just living it, just enjoying